Good day everyone, this is John here from 3D Create Tutorials, and welcome to this actual tutorial on creating this fun drive. All right, let's get going. Okay, so we're now on Plasticity, and we're going to actually go in with this box and kind of just select both of these sides here, and we're going to actually scale them in, and make sure to take out the snap to grid so it forms right. Make sure both are selected with the Shift key, and just bring this in. So we're going to kind of scale it in to about 0.6379 or something like that. This is going to be like a form, like a drive. So we're just trying to get our shape to start off with. Okay, so hit enter to accept. And now we're going to select the line selection here and kind of pull this out. So we're going to do this on the plus. So it's going to be a nice rounded form. So we're going to dial this in if we want to. You can type it in if you prefer. I'm going to do 0.12 to kind of give it a nice form and then hit enter. Okay, so now we got the basic form. And perfect. Okay, great. I'm going to hit Shift D to kind of make a copy of this. And now we got two of these. I'm going to rename this so I can make sure that I have this as a backup. And I could do a Control G to kind of put this in its own group, just in case I need to go back. This is a good way to kind of just have an extra in case you don't want to have to go from scratch all the way back again. Unless you want to do Control Z back. Anyway, here we go. So I made another copy of this now, and I'm making this a little bit bigger. So I did, again, Shift D to make this a copy. And I'm going to form this up, but I'm actually going to take away the height. So I'm going to put this back at 1 for the Z. And this way it's exactly the right height. I'm also going to expand the actual Y, which is going this way, just so it actually has a better, more of a form that fits the existing one, because that way it'll fit a little bit better. And again, I'm bringing this in just a little bit on the X, and now the Y, I'll bring this out a little bit more just to get a nice, so it's actually kind of uniform throughout the space. So we'll go with a little bit higher, something like about there. I think that looks good. Yeah, it's real simple to control that. And now we got that form. Now go ahead and enter. Now I'm going to take this one here, and I kind of scaled it up a little bit. And I made a copy of this with Shift D. And now I'm going to just kind of move it up a little bit out of the way. And I actually use this to cut into this with the Q. And okay, I'll just hit enter. And I've kind of created this now to cut that piece. All right, so we'll select the line tool here and kind of just actually get where I kind of think I would like to have this cut into this object here. I'm going to pull it down just like about there. And I'm going to hit the actual G key to move it up a little bit and out of the way. So again, Shift D to make a copy of this and move this over. So about right about there. Cool. Okay, so now I got these two lines here. I'm going to actually extrude these out. So make sure I select both of them here. And I'm going to hit the E key and kind of just pull this out. Now, I actually only use one of these sections, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and now go back to see what this is going to look like. And I'm going to now go in and kind of just modify this a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and select this line here and this line and actually delete these. So hit the delete key. Okay, I'm going to delete this one here and select this one, this object here, and actually use the G key and kind of move this out a little bit. This way I make sure it cuts properly. Now that I've created this, I'm going to actually select the surface here, hit the E key, and just bring this straight out. And about right about there. I'm going to use this for the cutter for this section here. A little bit more of adjustment there. All right, hit OK. And now that I've done this, now I can select this main object and this object now and hit the Q key to cut. Cool. I've done one side here. However, I kind of want to do the other side as well. So I'm going to undo that with the Control Z. I kind of want to just take this object now and make a duplication of this. So select it, hit the Shift D to make a copy of it. For Shift D, use the R key, and we're going to use the actual V key in the center and just kind of rotate this exactly 180 degrees. So I'm going to actually type this in, 180, and hit OK. Now I got two of these forms. Now we can select this main outer shell and select both of these sections here and use the Q key to cut it. So there we go, hit OK. And now we've cut this into the section. We can get rid of this other piece with the delete key, and there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to actually select the very edges of these pieces, each of this opposite side as well, and select these both and actually do a nice fillet around them just to make a nice form here. And I'm good with that shape. However, I want to kind of undo that and kind of redo this again. So let's go ahead and Control Z a couple times back to where it was. I'm going to also select the bottom pieces too. So I'm going to select this one and the bottom on the other side as well, the exact opposite. So make sure you get the right one, of course. And yeah, just want to make sure that I get these the right ones selected. So I did cut into the bottom here by accident, which we'll fix in a minute, but let's go and select that one. So we got both of those opposite sides selected and the two pieces on top. So we got 4 different selections. So we're going to pull this out now with the actual B key, or just exactly pull it out. And we're going to go around 0.15699, something like that. And I like that shape there. It's nice and round and smooth. Again, we're going to continue to kind of form this out the way I want it. So hit OK. So I like those first forms. And again, I got to fix this bottom here. So we're going to select the bottom now on this one, as well as this other one here, exact opposite, and go to the top and select these other two as well. So both of these sections here, this one and this one with the Shift key. Okay, now let's go and pull this out too with a nice fillet. And I went with like 0.15511 and hit OK. All right, cool. So now I've got that. I like the way it looks. I'm going to continue to adjust this. All right, so real quick here, if you want to get a lot more learning on plasticity, then here's some examples of what you can create. So if you are interested in learning from A to Z, then click on the Gumroad links below and download these full tutorials in creating these production models. All right, back to the tutorial. All right, so now I'm going to actually create some cuts into the actual, actual vertically, and I'm going to actually make a copy of this edge here and do a Shift D of that. So that way I have a nice line here, and I'm going to kind of just move it with the G key over to the side here, and again, duplicate that, Shift D, and move it over to the other side. So I'm going to have this kind of give myself the right exact angle to make this look right. This way it's perfectly aligned. And yeah, that's a good way to do this. So we're going to now copy and actually do a line here across to the side, bring it down along this line, and we're going to go exactly straight across to the other side horizontally and then back up. That way we get the perfect form to fit the exact same angle. That's kind of the objective here, to make everything look, aesthetically right. All right, cool. So now I've created this. I'm going to do Shift D, make a copy of it, and bring it straight down with the actual line there, and just bring it down. All right, cool. And again, we can do another Shift D here, and bring it down again. We'll bring it over here a little bit farther down, right about there. Kind of just eyeing this. Yeah, bring it a little bit more, right about there. All right, cool. Now, we got these 3. I'm going to go ahead and keep going with this. So now I'm actually going to select this one and move this over a little bit more. And also move this one over. I just want to get these out of my way. So when I actually use this to select the points, I can do this easily. So select the points now. We're going to select all these. Get rid of that one. Select these two over here as well. And now we're going to do the actual B key, and we're going to maneuver this a nice little plus on the actual fillet, so it makes it nice and round. And I'm going to go just a little bit, not too much, about there, 0.0319, hit OK. Cool. All right, so I like the forms here. I'm going to select each of these, all three of these, hit the Shift key and bring it down. And I'm going to pull this into the space. Hit OK. All right. So again, we want to make duplications of this to make it easier for ourselves. So I'm going to hit the Shift D again, and I'm going to use the actual R key. And I'm going to use the actual R key and bring it right straight to the middle here and use the V key and then rotate it around. So we actually got a duplication of this, exactly 180 degrees, and hit OK. For some reason that didn't take, so I kind of moved that over, but that's okay. One thing I'm also going to do here is hit the G key and kind of move it out so I can make sure I cut it right into it perfectly. And again, I'm just going to go back in here and do these three again one more time. And again, I'm going to extrude these into the space. So hit the E key, bring it in, hit OK, and G key, we can move that back out just a little bit. I just want to make sure it goes past the line. Hit OK, cool. All right, so now we got these. We can now select the main outer shell and then these 6 sections. So select each one and the other side as well. And there we go, hit Q and basically don't keep and hit OK. Now I'm going to keep these for some reason, but so I went back and just deleted these. Been a little bit easier to not keep those, but anyway, let's go ahead and delete all 6 of these. So delete them. Here we go. All right, great. Now we're going to go in and modify these lines as well. So let's go select these 3 right there and delete those with the delete key. And now we're going to do the actual edges here. So go ahead and select each of these edges. We're going to do all 9 of these basically on one side and the other side as well. So take care of all these. It's actually more than that, it's like 12. Let's keep going all the way up. And this side as well. There we go. And then we can pull this out on the plus. And I'm going to make sure that whatever the design I do here, I want to make sure I copy this. So I think that looks nice. I'm going to go ahead and do a Control C on this to make a copy so I can do the duplication on the side and hit Enter. All right, cool. Now let's do the other one as well. Select each of these edges. Again, same process. Keep going around all 12 sections. We're going to keep going up. Make sure we get in lines here. Now, if you can't see the lines, make sure the Show Edges is on. And keep going. Okay, we got all 12 now. We're going to pull this out. Again, I'm going to now do a Control V into this section here. Control V, so it's exactly the same. And hit OK. Now it's exactly the same. Great. Okay. I'm going to continue with this now. I'm going to scale this down a little bit inside. And then you'll see that the bottom is a little messed up here, so we'll fix that. So hit Enter. And I'm going to select this now and select this actual face here. And just pull this up. Now, if you can't see what you're doing, you can always hide something, but I think right there is perfect. So that way it kind of gets rid of that line. And then I can pull this one up as well. Now, if that causes a problem, we could fix it. So I'm going to take this object right now and actually hide it so I can see what I'm doing a little bit better. So select this and just hit the H key to hide, and there we go. And we're going to unhide this other one, so I basically hid both of them. All right, so we're going to unhide this now and work the bottom here. So as you see that it's continued to have a problem there, we're going to select it, and I'm going to pull this down, basically, the opposite way. And there it goes. Now it's completely gone. We can hit OK. And now we got our forms. So now we can unhide the other one. And yep, that looks great. Now it's two separate objects. And we can pull this up. So it's about level. All right. All right, so now I'm going to select the actual edge of these sections here and kind of just add a little bit of a fillet so it's nice and rounded on the edges to give it a little bit better lighting. When I actually render it, it just looks a lot better when you do this. You don't want to have a hard edge ever. So I'm just going to bring this out a little bit on the plus just to create a nice actual fillet. So right about there, 0.00442, and hit enter or OK. And there we go. So same thing with this one. We're going to select the top here and kind of put in a nice fillet as well. So pull this out on the plus, not the negative. And again, not too much, but I want this a little bit more rounded so it's a little different form, and hit OK. And we could do some more changes to the bottom as well. So we're going to bring this up a little bit more. I just want to get this past that edge, right close to the edge. Hit enter, and then again back to the line here, and we're going to pull this out again on the plus. Get a little bit tighter, so right to about, again, plus. About right about there. Yeah, but we want it on the plus, so right about 0.008. Hit OK. There we go. Now it's rounded. Again, we can select this and kind of just move it up a little bit with the G key, just so it's past that edge. Just a smidgen. Hit OK. All right, cool. All right, so now I'm going to go to the surface of this model here and kind of just adjust some things. So I just want to make it a little bit tighter. So I kind of made a decision after the fact that I wanted this a little bit thinner. So how do you deal with that? We can go in here and just select this very edge here. Make sure you use the Alt key and Shift and just select these edges and just delete them. And I just did the outer ones because, again, I just want to adjust these. So I'm going to go around and select everything now. This is a real easy way to kind of go back and change something if you don't like it. Again, make sure everything's selected all the way around on the outer edges or outer surface. And there we go. Now we can just go ahead and use the actual selection here and just pull it in. And this way it'll be a little bit tighter. I just didn't like that thickness was a little bit too thick for me. I'm okay with this. I think this looks a little bit nicer. I want it, like I said, too far out. Being like the edge, like a metal piece, I don't want it to be really thick because it makes it too heavy. Okay, I'm good with that. And yeah, that looks good. So again, select this edge here and use Alt key. Select both sides. And again, we're going to hit the B key and pull this out on the plus to make it a nice form. So right about there, 0.0325. I think that looks really good. I hit OK. Cool. Okay, we're going to create some sections in now the actual main drive section itself, not the outer section. So I'm going to create an actual rectangle here and pull it out. And I use the center snap, and I kind of just brought this over here. But what I need to do is I need to use these forms here so it'll help me out with the exact spacing here. So I'm going to bring this upward and kind of get this close to the edge here. And I'm just going to get this as close as I can to the bottom here just to see what I'm doing. Because I want to make sure that this forms exactly the same angle as the other one. So again, it's the same form. So we can get now and actually use the selection of the points here. So select point, and this, we're going to bring this completely out and just use the line to help pull this exactly straight. So we're going to make sure it actually goes along that like dotted line there, just like that. And once you get it like dialed in, you can see the line a lot better right there. Cool. Now that I've done this, we can actually do a Control G to make a copy of that if I want, or I could just take these 2 points and move them over. So hit the G key and move it over so it actually lines up, so the actual thing completely is perfectly, squared off, and hit OK. Cool. So now that I've done this, it's a lot easier to control this. So we're going to select this line or this section here. Again, I'm going to go ahead and move this over to right about center of this space, right about there. All right. So I use the G key to do that. And I'm going to use this to actually select the points. So select all these 4 points. So select these 2 and this one as well. Go ahead and go back with the Shift key and hit the B key, and we'll pull this out on the plus. Not too much. Hit OK. And now we have a nice form. So now that we've gotten this here, we can go to the side and see what we got. It's in the center now. We got to move it with the G key. So it's on the outside. So bring it all the way out. And this way we can see the actual surface. So I'm going to actually select these 2 points here, or these 4 points, and just bring them up a little bit. So hit the G key. I'm going to use the V key right along here. So this way I can move it straight up, or the F key, and just bring it up. It was too far down, so I'm good with that now. Now I'll select this face and just pull this into the space, just like that. Hit OK. And there we go. Now we select this intersection and this piece here and hit the Q key. And yeah, that looks good. I'm going to cut this one away. I could have just did it the first time. Let's go select this now and delete it. And yeah, I think that looks really nice, like the form. And I'm good with that. Okay, so now that we've got our shapes, we're going to go ahead now and actually create another rectangle. And we're going to select it down the center of this space kind of, and pull this out. So something about right about there, midway. And I'm good with that design. I think that looks nice. So we're going to create basically a USB port here. Just think that would look cool. All right, so I'm going to maneuver just a little bit closer. I think that looks better. And I'm going to go ahead and now adjust it. So I'm going to use the Shift and actually select these 4 sections here and kind of use the B key to kind of make it nice and round. I'm going to make this like horizontal to this space. I thought it would look better that way, and I did it with a plus on the fillet. And now that I've got one of these, I'm going to actually do a Shift D and move this second one down a little bit and just back to the center here again. Kind of similar to what the other side is. And I'm good with that as well. So one good way to do this is we can do a Shift D and kind of just bring this to the edge here and see if it's lining up. So I made a copy of that and moved it over. As you see, it's a little bit off from that line, so I'm going to move it in or out a little bit. So it kind of lines up right on the edge. Another way you could do this is down the center if you wanted to. Hit OK. All right, cool. So I'm going to do a Shift D and move this over to the side here because I want to be able to help create the actual forms on the outside. So I'm going to actually use a line tool and bring this up a little bit just to make sure it's exactly centered. And I just thought that would be easier to bring that out like that. And now that I've gotten this, let's go ahead and do it again. Make sure it's straight. So let's go straight up. And I'm going to use this now to help me pull in a actual rectangle again right there and kind of just bring it a little bit less than the existing section there. And now I'm going to use these to actually select these 4 sides here. And again, and hit the B key and kind of just make this nice and rounded a little bit with the fillet. And I'm good with that as well. So that's cool. And I can now use this to kind of help, pull this out. Let's say extrude. Right about it there. Hit OK. So I got the form the way I want it. I can select this edge here, just delete it, and let's go ahead and continue. So now I'm going to go to the front of this and just move this into place, kind of where it would look nice as a USB device. All right. So now I'm going to create some other forms. Just thought it would look nice to kind of create some sections here. All right, so I created another rectangle, and once I've created this, I'm going to now actually use the G key to kind of move it over a little bit, kind of close to the edge of the other section. And I'm going to use the actual section here to kind of help me with forming this out a little bit. I'm going to do a Shift D and kind of move this over a little bit. So I'm going to use this to kind of help create the form. So I'm going to use a line tool, kind of go down the center of the space and snap to that one and to this one. This will create the actual nice little section there. So now I got these. I'm going to do a copy of this and basically mirror this over. So make sure all of them are selected, mirror. And we're going to select the actual F key down the center here and bring it down and hit OK. All right, so what I could do here is kind of get the points and kind of adjust a little bit. First, I'm going to select these as well and get this done so it's connected. So it's exactly now in the center, but again, this one's shorter than the rest. So I'm going to go in and select the points and kind of adjust this a little bit. So let's go ahead and hit the G key and just move this over a little bit like that. Hit OK. And the same thing with the other side as well. So again, pull this over and bring this out. That's exactly, basically half and half. Hit OK. So I'm going to select all these now. And go ahead and now select the surface of these sections, and we're going to pull this out. So again, E key, and just pull this out so it becomes one object, and hit OK. Cool. So they're not exactly lined up. That's okay. We can move this in. So again, select the object selection and select it, hit G key, and we'll move it over to the other side. So again, use the point here. And kind of just bring it over to the bottom of this, right about there, and bring it down, right there. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to select the actual face again and the back side here, and I'm going to actually hit the G key or hit the E key to move this a little bit farther out, so it kind of lines up with the other one. Hit OK. There we go. Now it's more aligned. Select both of these, and we're going to move this into space now. So again, we're going to select it, hit the G key, and we're going to move this over with the actual F key, and we're going to center it off of this, just like that. All right, cool. Now we can actually now move this up a little bit, right about there. Hit OK, and we can do a Shift D on these two, and we'll make a copy of it. First of all, once it's lined up, I think that looks good. We're going to do a Shift D. And bring one over here, and again, bring it up to similar height. And right there looks good. Hit OK. Now we got these both together. And I'm going to select both of these now. I'm going to use this to kind of cut into the object. So go ahead and extrude this into the other form. Hit OK once this kind of deep into that area. And I also want to make sure this is going to cut in properly. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these sections here. So I'll go ahead and delete this. And this one. And now we could take these forms, the shapes, and if we can't select it, that's okay. We can just hide the inner section. So let's hide this for a second. Hide, H, and just bring these two back the other way with the G key. So first of all, let's select these two, G key, move it over, just like that. Hit OK. And now we can unhide this, and we can use this to cut in. So make sure we select this first, and then these two sections here. And just go ahead and hit the Q key, and there we go. Perfect. Now these are aligned. We can select all four of these. But first of all, let's go and select these outer sections and do a nice fillet on these as well. So I'll pull this out on the plus. And good there, hit OK. Cool. Now we can actually select these as well. Pull this out on the plus. So it's a nice form. Right about there, hit OK. And I'm going to change the color here to more of a blue color with M key. So it kind of is more similar to a USB 3 color. Hit OK. And we can change these other two as well. So select both of these. And we're going to change the color with M. We can go to the assets though. We can just change it to more of a bronze color. So let's go to the bronze, select that. There we go. When it's on render mode, we can take the edges off, see how it looks. That looks good. Yeah, I think that's going to look really nice. So we can now move these in a little bit more. I think they need to go inward. So select them, hit G key and move them inward. About there. Okay, cool. All right, let's change the outer color a little bit. Make it a little bit darker for now. We'll change the actual thing to like a plastic rough. And I'm going to really change this down quite a bit, make it more of a lighter gray. You see the forms a little bit too much there, so we can shrink this down, make sure metalness is off. And we can change the actual texture scale down to like 0.2 or something like that. It really needs to go down quite a bit. It's way too thick. About there, this looks good. And hit OK. All right, cool. Now we can select this one and change this as well with the M key and make this more like aluminum. I'm doing this before I actually export it out as OBJ. This way it just comes out nicer. And they're separate entities or separate, texturing. All right, so something like that looks good. Bring this down as well to 0.2 or 0.21, close enough. And metalness is good. Bring the roughness down a little bit and hit OK. All right, so we can select some of these other lines here. Let's get rid of those lines there, and let's go ahead and just adjust a few more things. So now I'm going to create a button to turn it on and off, basically. So I'm going to use a line tool here to kind of center this properly. Now I'm taking off the actual shading mode there, the render mode. We'll go straight to from center to center. That way it's exactly perfectly half and half. And now I'm going to use the circle tool and kind of just bring this out. I want to make sure I'm actually on the exact side. That way it perfectly lines up straight. And bring this out like that. Now I can select the surface here and pull this in. So let's go and pull that into the space like that. Hit OK. And then we can use this to cut in. So let's go and select the main object itself with the selection of the object. And select this other piece that we just created and hit Q. And we could have kept it there. It would have been easier, but since I deleted it, just go back in and now use the actual form here to kind of make this a little bit more rounded with a fillet. And we can now go select this surface here and move it into the space. So select it and just actually extrude it into this space. Now we can select this and delete this piece and select this and make this more rounded. So this will make it really nice. So pull it out. So it's kind of like a button, about right about there. That looks good right there. Hit OK. And we can select it with the selection, object selection now, and use the G key and move it out a little bit. Or scale it up a little bit first. I want this to kind of look like it kind of goes into the space. So scale it down a little bit. There we go. And G key to move it out a little bit. Perfect. All right, so that's looking nice. Hit OK. You can hide all that now and kind of just pull this out a little bit. I want this to kind of go deeper into the space, so select the surface and extrude this out. That way it looks like it falls all the way in. You might not see that, but just in case. A bit more. Okay, cool. Hit OK. Let's hide that again, see what we're doing. And I also want to create some of the actual USB-C connections. So I'm going to create 2 more of these down below this. Now, I noticed that I'm a little bit off from the center of this space. And is a real easy way to, make that work is you select the very back one, and then you select the intersections. But now that we got this fillet on the top, it's going to cause a problem. So we really need to just get rid of that edge right here. So select it with the Alt key and delete it. And now that we've done that, we can go in and just select this whole thing and move it if we wanted to. But first of all, let's get this other one too. Alt. Might as well do both at the same time. So let's go and select that, and I'll Alt Shift, and then the inner piece as well. I missed this one right there. Okay, so now we've done that. Let's go back to the straight view, and we're going to use the G key now to move this. This is really great about this program. We can do this. I'm going to center this off a little bit more, and I like it right there. Hit OK. So simple to do that. So that would be really difficult to do in a polygon program. So now we select these 4 sections here and also move them over to the left and center that off of that space just like that. Hit OK. There. That's a lot more centered now, and I think that looks great. All right, let's continue to build this out. So we're going to now create another smaller section down below here. So we'll use the line here to help us out with that. We're going to make this smaller, of course, because USB-C is a little smaller form. And we're going to use this to pull out on the plus. More of a rounded, kind of like that right there. Hit OK. And I think that looks good. So now we can use this to kind of pull out into the space. So extrude it and hit OK. All right, great. So now we've done this, we can now take this one and delete it, or scale this down, actually make a copy of it. So that way we can reuse it again, and we're going to pull this down a little bit. Just a quick way to cut back into this other shape without having to redo it again. So now that we've done this, we can take this piece now and extrude it in to the piece that we already created and hit OK. And now we can got this, we can actually hit the G key and move it in a little bit. So G key, move it in. Actually got the wrong point there. G key again. Make sure it's the green. And pull it in. There we go. Now we can select the main object here and that object, and now hit Q to cut into it. Perfect. Real simple way to create stuff like this. Now we can select this piece here. First of all, I'm going to actually go in and select this object here and kind of hit the G key and move it in a little bit or out. We're going to do something like that. I'm going to use that and hit that and cut that in with the Q. Now I've done this, I could actually go here and hide this. So select it, hide it. Actually had the other one selected by accident, so unhide, undo. Make sure we unhide this right one. Now I'll select this and hide it. There we go. All right, cool. So now we got this. Let's go and select this piece here and kind of just move this into the space like that. A little deeper. This will look a lot better this way. All right, now we can unhide the other piece and kind of move it into place. So first hit OK after we moved it. And then go back in and select it. Again, we're going to move this into place. So select it, hit the G key, and bring it in. Something like that. I'm also going to do a few more adjustments here. I'm going to select this inner piece now. And going to bring this up a little bit more. It's a little bit too small. I'm good with that. And let's bring this piece in with the extrusion. And that looks a lot better. All right, so let's go and select this piece here on the edge here with the Alt key, and now pull it out with the plus to create a nice form. And the same thing with the intersection here. So select it. Oops, got the wrong one. Select this one here and pull it out on the plus. Hit OK. There we go. Now we can actually take this whole form and just take this one and now pull this out too. So it looks like it's not part of the same object. So I'm going to select both of these sections now with the Alt key. Shift Alt. And I'm going to pull this out as well. So it has a nice edge to it. Hit OK. And it's looking really nice. All right, so I'm pulling out another rectangle here. Really small one. I'm trying to create basically a light device, and I'm going to use this over on the left side to kind of just create some variety of bright lights. But first of all, I'm going to actually go in and kind of just maneuver this piece back in a little bit more. I just think it'll look better if it was deeper in. So I'm going to bring this inward, like about there. I think that looks good. And I'm going to create another one of these as well to make it look nice. So I'm going to do the same process as I just did, but I'm going to create a copy of this one with the Shift D. So go to the front here. So select the object itself, hit OK. Shift D, bring it down with the G key. And we're going to kind of align it with the center here, right about there. Again, the same process. We're going to use that line that we created earlier, or create a new line just so I can make sure it's centered. So again, if I deleted it, we can go back and do it again. So select the edge here to this edge. There we go. And then we can actually select it by selecting the actual G key, F key, and we'll center it onto this space. So select it, G, and F, select the center, and then go back to this front view here and just align it with the actual edge here and bring it downward. See, we're a little bit off there, right about there. All right, cool. Now that we've gotten this in place, we can go in and cut into this actual object again. So go ahead and select the main object, this one, and now select this one and hit Q. All right, so now this is a little different because we got that piece now in the way. We can actually keep this object, so make sure we don't delete it by accident. Now we can actually take this and hide it. So first select it, hide it, so we can get this out of our way. And just go ahead and select this piece here and now move it in. Now if that's not working, that's okay, we can fix it. Let's go ahead and select, we're going to select this whole piece here and delete it. There we go. Now it's all out of the way, so select all those and delete it. Now we can actually unhide the other piece. There we go. And it's all lined up perfectly. All right, cool. So now we can do this inner piece as well. So select this piece right there, pull this out, not too much. Do it either on chamfer or a fillet. Because it's so small, probably won't even notice it, but I'm doing a fillet on this one. There we go. Hit OK. All right, cool. So now we got these all done, and we can continue. So I'm going to actually hit both of these and hit the M key and change the color a little bit, a little darker, and hit OK. But make sure we take the middle and bring it all the way up, and then rough this down a little bit so it's nice and shiny. And go with that, hit OK. We can go over here at the surface and see what that looks like. All right, so we can delete these other pieces. We don't need those no more. And we can get rid of these other ones and delete them. But this one I'm going to keep and move it over now, finally. And we're going to actually bring this over with the G key. Okay, so now that we have this over there, we're going to actually kind of adjust this as we go. So hit OK. And we want to make sure that this is at the right angle. So we're going to actually create a line here. We're going to select this line. Kind of move this over here down the center. So I'm going to kind of like line this up with that center of this space. So now I'm going to select it, hit the G key, hit the F key, and we're going to make sure we select the center. So we got to sometimes zoom in and select the center of this space. So we got to wait till we actually hit the midpoint. What we're looking for here. So not there, but right there, midpoint. There we go. And now that we've gotten this, we can kind of rotate this around. So I can make a Shift D of this line, move this closer, and we're going to put this right on the edge of that center space right about there. Cool. Now we can go in and kind of select this and rotate it. So rotate it along this line here, and the red should be lining up with the actual edge of that line. So it's exactly straight. See, it's a little bit off right there. We're going to zoom in a little bit more and kind of just dial that in just a little bit more. About right about. A little bit more. Takes a little bit of precision. There we go. Yeah, that looks good. Now we have this perfectly lined. We can go back in and kind of adjust it. All right, so we can take this line here and we can move it straight down, kind of like close to the end here. I'm going to actually use this to help, with the points. So select the point. And again, G key. And we're going to use the V key here so I can line it up perfectly and just bring it way down. So we're going to about between the four sections for plugins to kind of get close to the middle there. Kind of help this drive this into the center of this. Okay, so now that we got this, let's select these 4 points. And we're going to actually now go in and hit the B key, make this more rounded with the plus, like about there, and hit OK. So now I'm going to go ahead and select the surface of this and hit the E key and bring it into the space, right into the section there, and hit OK. Now that I've done this, I'm going to create a copy of this and move it down. So select it, go to the exact face there, and we're going to do the actual rectangle array, and we're going to bring this downward. Zoom in a little bit, get close to the thing here, but again, I don't want this many. I want like maybe 4. So I'm going to go ahead and left click, and well, first adjust this to 4 before I left click. I went with 4 here, so I think that would look better. And I'm going to bring it down so it's a little bit past, right about there. All right, cool. So now I got all 4 of these in line. And yeah, that looked great. So now we can select this and select all 4 of these sections, and we can cut into it. But this time we're going to use this Q and then Shift Q. So that way we have a separate object within the object. Now we can actually go in and delete these other pieces. First, hide this. I'm going to go ahead and select all these 4 pieces. So this one. So first that one, and then I'll select this one, delete it. This one, delete. And then this top piece, delete. Same thing, we'll keep doing this, delete, delete. This one, delete, and then this piece, delete. Okay, cool. So now we can select and unhide this first. And make sure we delete that one too. Okay, cool. So we got all those deleted now. We can unhide, and we can select all 4 of these pieces and just bring them in just a little bit. So it gives us that edge. So I'll select these 2. Now this one and this one. Okay, now I got all 4 selected. We can hit the G key and move it in. So first of all, select these 4. And again, we're going to hit the G key to move them in. So G, move out a little bit so you can see, and just bring it in a little bit, and there we go. All right, cool. Now we can hit OK. Now we can select each of these 4 little sections around each of these areas and zoom in a little bit. Select each edge here with Alt, Shift, again, Alt, Shift, and the last one up here, Alt, Shift. And we're going to pull this out so it has a little bit of an edge there. And we could have gone with the chamfer to speak less detail, but that's okay. Hit OK. So now I'm going to select these lines and just delete them. We don't need these anymore. I'm going to go ahead and keep this one for now for the circular thing. I'm going to create another cut into the space. So we're just going to the center here and pull this out a little bit. There we go. I'm going to put a red light there just to give it a little bit more variations. I'll pull this out a little bit and now surface and push this through again. Hit OK. So same thing here. We're going to use the object selection and this one here and use the Q and then Shift Q or Q and leave the object there. And we're going to pull this out. Again, I can just take this other piece here and kind of move it in. So either way, you can get away with it. Delete this And now we could pull this out and make this more rounded. It's about right there. And then we could hit the G key and move it in. Same effect, really. There we go. Okay. All right, so now we can then select both of these. Select the object selection, select this one, and move this in a little bit. We can change the color, make it red with the M key. There we go. I think that looks nice. And I'll take the metalness away. There's no need for metalness or roughness. So I make this a little bit actual opacity so we can see through it. So this way when it comes in, it becomes more like a transparent object. I'm going to fast forward this. At least you can have it to look at. But yeah, if you really like this stuff, subscribe, thumbs up, it really helps the channel. Thank you for joining me. All right, have a great day.